Everyone is speaking out about Rasmus Andersson and all of the trade rumors surrounding the Calgary Flames defenseman. Yesterday, I asked you guys to provide some trade proposals for the Swedish stud, and you delivered, so we're going to dive into all of that and more. But before we get into that, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. YouTube's actually telling me that only around 30% of you guys watching are subscribed, so please do me that favor of subscribing. It really does help me out a lot, and we would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family as well. But let's hop in and talk about these Razz proposals from you guys, which is quite exciting. Over the past couple weeks now, that's kind of what's running rampant right now is Rasmus Andersson trade proposals, trade rumors, whatever you want to call it. It seems like Conroy won't have too busy of a summer, but he has a few RFAs to sign, and Andersson, he could end up being the man out if, obviously they can't get a contract. It's to an agreement on a contract, I guess we can say for that one. And we'll see. I think more people are leaning towards it makes more sense to trade him at this point. So why not get into some proposals and see if any of them happen, if any of us are feeling mystical and get it right, get the proposals correct. So the first one here comes from my ripped sock, and most of these are from yesterday's video. This entire video is essentially going to be, the comment of the day, but don't worry, we'll still have that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. But my ripped sock starts with a very good one here. So Razz and Miro to Dallas for Dumba, Bork, and a third with Razz 50% retained. Now, this is very interesting. I could see, if Dallas loses tonight against Colorado or kind of crashes out of the playoffs earlier this year, they might want to change things up a bit. And this isn't very interesting. I think both Razz and Miro are guys who could easily be the outsiders for the Flames with a bunch of those young defensemen coming up. And we'd rather honestly develop them than play guys like Razz and Miro. So trading for Dumba's not a player we want, but it's what has to make it work in terms of money. Dumba has a terrible contract. We might not even really have to play Dumba. I really like Matt Dumba. I think he's great. I think he could be a great leader and, really be great for some of these young guys. But we'll have to see. Bork is the main piece that we'd want. We've talked about Maverick Bork a lot, a really good young center from Dallas who played in a bunch of games this year and just looks really good. A little bit smaller, but hey, that's okay. Exactly what we need. Fits the age range as well. The third round pick, if we're retaining 50%, I'd want to get that third round pick even higher, a second, maybe even conditional first for this kind of trade, because Razz is still a very valuable piece. So overall, I do like this one. It's an easy way to shed Miro as well, who another guy I really like, but he just doesn't fit our plans for the future. So we start off with a bang here. Next one, Guitar Memoir. Wouldn't be a video without Guitar Memoir. And this is a great one here as well. So I would like to make my case for trading Razz to Tampa again, LOL. They are in win now mode with no first round picks for the next 3 years. They have $30 million in cap space tied up long term in 4 forwards and another $9.5 million per year for Kucherov for 2 more years. Seems to me like they are too deeply invested to blow it up right now. True, they got smoked by Florida in the first round this year, but that doesn't mean their window of contention is over. They don't really have much of a future, so they have to keep going for it. Hedman and McDonough are 34 and 35 respectively, and after Chernak, they don't have much on D. Their number one gaping hole is a legit top 4 right-handed shot defenseman. So true, who fits the bill? Rasmus Andersson. So, Razz for Connor Geeky plus. Absolutely love that. And also offer sheet Jack Quinn, possibility there. But Razz for Connor Geeky plus is, I think, huge. Connor Geeky, a great prospect. A lot of people mix him up with Morgan Geeky, which is totally fair. But Connor Geeky's really good, and I do agree with you here. I think the Flames could get more than just Geeky for Razz. Maybe, obviously they don't have any first round picks, but maybe another, actual prospect or a later pick, second, third round kind of thing. I think it could work. Tampa could get desperate to get a guy like Andersson, so absolutely love this one as well. Next, RK Malaper. They say, I saw somewhere that Sharks are willing to trade their first rounder this year for the right price. How about Razz plus a pick for their first? Now, San Jose will almost certainly get the first overall pick. They have the best chance to land it. So could we see Razz plus maybe one of our first rounders or a couple first rounders for the first overall pick? Then it would be interesting what we would pick if we got the first overall pick. Is this the year that you'd want to trade up for first overall and take a center with guys like Schaefer and defensemen who are really good? We need centers especially. Could happen. Maybe you'd go for Misa. That's an interesting one overall. We'll see what the Sharks end up doing. Next, Mike says Andersson for Tej Iginla plus. Now, this comment got a lot of likes, not at the time of me screenshotting it, obviously, but it did end up getting a lot of likes, and it's so possible. That would be a great story for Flames fans. They would love to get the son of Jarome Iginla, of course, from Utah. Didn't play much this year due to injury, but still not bad. I think if you get Tej plus, a pick or two in there, maybe not super high picks, I would love it. A lot of us wanted Tej Iginla to be drafted last year. Instead, we got Parekh, which was a fantastic second option. But I would love it if this trade were to happen as well. That's actually something we discussed a lot last summer, was Andersson getting traded to Utah. So who knows? It could happen again. Next, Andrew says trade Andersson in a package to get Bedard. He looks like he wants out of Chicago. Now this one, I think it would take a lot more than just Andersson to get Connor Bedard, but hey, it is true. Maybe Bedard isn't the happiest in Chicago yet, maybe just because they haven't, done much of any winning so far, but it could happen. Rasmus Andersson, maybe, one of our other defensemen, or, maybe some of our first round picks this year. I know we just have two, but one or a couple of them. I mean, I'd be happy to trade for Bedard essentially no matter what, as long as it doesn't involve Parekh or Wolf, but this one's not too likely, but it could happen. And hey, again, it's just a proposal. We'll have to see what does end up happening. Love that one from Andrew there. Next, Dale. This is from a bit of an older video, but this was a good one as well. Rasmus Andersson and a 2026 first, so you'd assume that's our pick, to Buffalo for Bowen Byram and JJ Peterka. Now, we have been linked to both Peterka and Byram for quite a while now, as we're always linked to Buffalo players, of course. That's why I chose the Buffalo thumbnail. But either way, Andersson and a 2026 first for Byram and Peterka. It's a good trade. It's a great proposal. It's a great hypothetical. It just, again, it doesn't address exactly what we need in terms of a center, because Peterka's a winger. Byram as a left-handed D is great, but overall, love this proposal. I just don't see it really fitting what we need, but maybe we address the center issue in another way through free agency or a different trade or even the draft as well. But great one here from Dale. Next, Poopy Drip Dog. They said, if we do trade Razz, this one's a little radical. In return, I want Connor McDavid, prime Wayne Gretzky, prime Martin Brodeur, 5 first overall picks, and $10 million. Does that mean you get the $10 million or the team does? Either way, this one, yeah, a little bit more realistic. I think it could be possible. I don't know exactly who we're trading with here. Maybe, the higher powers is who we're trading with to get back prime Gretz and Marty Brodeur. But, yeah, overall, it seems like you would rather keep Rasmus Andersson as you think his value is that high, which is completely fair. Next one, moving on, one fell swoop. They said to the Canes for Nadeau, Bradley Nadeau. I don't know if they'd accept that, though. And this is an interesting one. Carolina, it'll depend on how they do in the playoffs this year. It'll depend what they want to do with their D-core, of course. I know we went over it in yesterday's videos, the Canes being one of the good trade partners for Razz. It'll totally depend on how the Canes do and what they want to do with their D-core. Nadeau, very, very good prospect. He was a first rounder just a couple years ago, I believe, has had some great seasons in the AHL so far. The only thing, again, though, is he is a winger. It might be better to go for a center in one of these trades, but even then, if you can get, Nadeau for Andersson, I don't see why you wouldn't do it. It seems like a win for us, for sure. But again, a winger, I'm a little skeptical on wingers, but it could definitely happen, and I like that one for sure. Second to last one here is from Bernie. So Bernie said, if Calgary could trade Andersson for a player like Wright, so Shane Wright from Seattle, who has potential, I would do it. I don't think that trade would be one for one. I think both sides might need to throw in some of those other smaller pieces, a conditional pick. That seems like they're always involved in these types of trades, but it could happen. Shane Wright is a guy who has played really well against the Wranglers, so who knows? Maybe he likes playing in Calgary or something. Still has a lot to prove, and maybe he could do that in Calgary with a better, potential, a better opportunity to show what he's made of, I suppose. I would be down for this, honestly. I don't know if Seattle would go for Andersson. They tried to address kind of their defensive issues last summer, picking up Montour, and obviously they have done as well, but I don't know if they'd want Andersson, so I do like this proposal. I just don't see the legitimacy of it. You know, an inter-division trade as well is usually a little bit tougher, but I would also be down, and I like this one a lot. Now, the last one here is from Kevin. Now, Kevin said, read a scenario where Ottawa is in need of a right-handed shot D and doing a 1-for-1 for Thomas Chabot. I may be interested in a deal like that. Now, I see this trade as a bit of a lose-lose. Honestly, I think both teams kind of get worse in a way. I know Chabot's, a little bit younger. Is he even younger? He might not be younger at all. He might be older for all I know. But either way, I don't see it being great for either team. Is Andersson what Ottawa needs? No. Is Chabot what Calgary needs? No. They might be better off just keeping both guys. I think this would honestly be a bigger L for Calgary, just the way Chabot's contract is. But I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't see it being a win for either team, so why would it happen? But I still love the hypothetical here, and I think it's a great trade proposal nonetheless. But those were absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for providing those comments. And with that being said, let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video. And I was so tempted to throw in another proposal as the comment of the day just to throw you guys off a bit. But no, I decided to take this one from Aaron. So Aaron said, Flames need to stop fooling around with mid-level prospects and pay the premium and swing for the fences. If San Jose gets the first overall try and package, Rasmus and first-round picks to get it done. Okay, I kind of lied. This team desperately needs a 1C, otherwise they are just going to be a middling team and waste Wolf and Parekh. Lottery pick next year's first, but go big and take risks. A lot, obviously, there, but it is true. The Flames really, if they want to do something huge, they just gotta do it, gotta make it happen, and maybe a trade with San Jose involving Andersson is the way to do it. So overall, very interesting. Again, feel free to always put down some trade proposals or any other hypotheticals down in the comments. Absolutely love reading them, and who knows, maybe we'll revisit them again in a future video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.